Yo, what's up, guys? And I might sound a little bit different, been sick for the last few days right now. Still haven't fully recovered yet. However, that does mean that I will be streaming less, but still trying to make some videos here and there. And last time that I did this, I had 10,000 of these, which is, I think, a month or two ago. I'm not entirely sure, but it goes pretty fast. Especially if you farm a lot, then the speed times of clearing all of those are pretty fast. Last time we had 10,000 of these and I kept about 17 runes. In this video, I'm going to be pretty much doing the same thing, counting how many runes that I keep. So let me actually double check where I'm at with how many runes that I have right now. Or just let's make a marker point of which is my last rune until this point. So if we go for this, this is my pointer. And we're just going to keep that rune as is. Fight rune. All of the intangible runes that I get is just going to be like, fight rune, fight rune, fight rune, everything, fight rune, fight rune. So yeah, if I start out coughing, I can at least edit it out because it's a video. But yeah, let's start doing these with all of those runes. I am going to mention where will I use them, if I use them, if I keep anything, or if there's something that once that would be different, then I will keep it for like a specific unit or anything like that. So let's just gonna go with that, and we're just gonna check like, okay, how many runes will I keep? How many runes are usable? How many runes, like anything. I would say that these runes, enchant and accuracy, are pretty much the same for like tolerance, are pretty much trash in general. Well, we also instantly exclude the runes that have like the flat stats. If they have like a speed grind, we will for sure still try them. So this rune, I would say that resistance on vampire, there are some useful ways to it. For example, I have been using a Minato that was like high on resistance, but if it rolls like this, it's absolutely ridiculously bad. But you could give it a try to keep one. This one we're just kind of trying to get like full in speed. If it doesn't go speed, it's an insta-cell in that one. This thing, I would say whatever it rolls, it's pretty bad. You could give it a try for triple in crit damage, and then crit damage maxed, you can grind this one and you have like 3 attack stats, and maybe then as a broken-ish rune or something like that. This is too low of any rune quality to get anywhere. You could try to get like a 28 crit rate, but even if this would roll 28 crit rate, it would be pretty freaking bad. Oh, this one is pretty interesting. It's near max roll. It's one of max accuracy, actually. It's kind of an interesting one, I would say. Kind of depends, like, wow, that's a lot of HP. I'm not entirely sure where this will be used, but I assume this will be used somewhere where I don't need any kind of speed, but can't really think of where right now. But definitely a rune that I'll keep, and I'll just put the enchant on it for now. I could put in attack over here. It's high efficient, but for what needed, I don't know. This one is fairly interesting. Would have been nicer if this HP percent would be attack percent, but if we roll in first 2 and then the fourth, then attack percent grind, roll 1 in there. But rolling 1 in there makes it kind of bad. You could say remove speed for attack and then a Leo rune, but I've been getting so many runes like, oh, that's a Leo rune. Oh, that's a Leo rune. Oh, that's a Leo rune. Like at some point, you don't need that many Leo runes, right? So, yeah, it kind of, if it ignored both, I would say first and second, then it would be okay. But now, like, removing the speed kind of feels bad. So I'm not really sure. I'll keep it for now, but it feels kind of a meh-ish rune. This one, tolerance. If it goes full into HP and defense, I wouldn't mind tolerance if it goes anything else. It's sell for me. And that's just if you want to make a arena defense unit with tolerance and then resistance out the other units as well. It could be something for that, but in general case, not that great. So we kept 2 runes in that first rotation. Let's see if we can get some more interesting runes on that. All of these enhanced runes are not bad per se, but they're not great. I'm getting a lot of them in this one. Let's see. Attack. Doesn't really seem too great. I'll give it a try for a roll, but I would say in either scenario, I probably wouldn't really keep this because it needs something like attack or crit rate, that kind of stuff in there. This one, you're solely focused on crit rate, crit damage, and then it could be something. Speed innate is what makes this one bad. I would say that rolls aren't too bad, but I think I'm still gonna sell it because it's just, you could say once again something with a Leo kind of unit, but yeah. This one, if it ignores HP percent and accuracy, you could put it on a damage dealer as a broken unit, or a broken set, but You would have to get those perfect rolls in there. This one's definitely not the stats you want to have on an enhanced rune. However, that becomes somewhat interesting. Nah, still not. Well, no, actually, I think I will keep this because if you want to put it on a Vanessa or something for arena defense, it could be a thing if you remove like one of those two lines from HP percent. But preferably you have them lower on speed as well. But since I don't have too many enhanced runes, and this is pretty much the only way that I get enhanced runes, I guess I'll keep it. This one I just solely focus on HP percent and resistance. If it rolls anything in the other ones, it's kind of useless. Once again, arena defense kind of whatever. I didn't click on the select all before that yet. This is just straight up bad. You need at least some damage stats on this. We're just gonna roll it for simply the sake of getting speed in there, but even getting 21 speed right now wouldn't be that great, and I'm happy it doesn't, because the moment it's 21 speed, I'm kind of like, ah, should I keep it? Should I need to keep it? But I didn't really want to keep that one. So this one, we have another one that just purely on speed, like any of the other stats don't really matter too much, especially that one. So in total, we kept 3 runes right now. Let's continue on. Okay, Will's definitely nice, Bio definitely nice. Bio, Will, Swift, and Despair are the ones to look out for the most, of course. So we get a bunch of Fios and we get a bunch of Willers over here. Too bad that those are instantly crossed out, but that is still fine. Let's see what else we have. Defense with this, no, like any kind of shape or way that you would roll this. Like if it was HP in here and then defense in there, you could use it for something, but defense on the base mainly doesn't really make it used that good, especially with the speed innate. Like if the speed innate wasn't there, you could use it for something. This one I could see as a windy rune if it goes high into the defense percentage, but if it doesn't go there, it's not that great. This one also doesn't make too much sense. We could go for a high crit damage or something, but apparently flat HP is the one to like to at this time. This one we're aiming for speed, crit rate. Any of the other stats aren't too useful. Instead, it's pretty low rolls. Like if it was 12 and 6 up, I would probably keep it because it's pretty much the same as a hero one then. But if it's too low of rolls, it's not great. Defense percent in this isn't too great. Going high in attack percent, crit rate percent could be something, but if it doesn't roll in there, it's nothing useful. This one, well, main thing is speed, but there are other combinations where it could still be useful. But this is not one of those combinations, because a combination that I would say would still be useful is ignoring one of those two and then grinding defense on that slot. I would say that this rune could be useful for a mid-range account where you want to maybe put it to an Amelia or something like that, that you have some resistance, some accuracy for landing those provokes and those stuns, and then some speed in there as well, but definitely not something that I need at this moment. This one, anything that has crit rate slot 4, you're kind of aiming for speed. Like anything that has crit rate slot 4 without speed, pretty much just doesn't make it useful, because I would say anything that you don't throw speed at that is crit rate slot 4, you might as well just get your crit rate somewhere else and then throw a crit damage slot 4 at it. This one, I don't really see it being used too much, but we could aim for crit damage high. We don't really get it, so that's a sell there as well. So we're still on 3 runes, so that actually goes worse than the last rotation that we had so far. Maybe I'm being a little bit more picky on runes this time around, but I feel like it's somewhat similar of last time. I feel like a little bit more picky because I've been keeping too many shitty-ish runes. This one is actually kind of bad throughout whatever it rolls. This one, I could give it a chance for high crit damage, but I would say that this one is pretty, nah. Like if it goes full crit damage, maybe. This one is definitely high efficient potential. Definitely could be something along the line of Leo runes, but yeah, the bad part is that you have a low base here, low base there, and then a high base here. If it ignores the high base, then the only enchantable is that high base. So I would have liked if this one was the ignored one, but this one, the rolls are pretty low, so I'm gonna sell it. Like, you could use that rune once again, Leo rune, but you only need a finite amount of Leo runes, and I'm definitely on that point already. This one, we're only aiming for speed. I do have enough fight runes to be, interestingly enough, fine on that. However, this, well, it's pretty much like a maxed out hero on resistance, and this actually makes a lot of sense for the rune itself, because I can remove the crit rate to defense, or the crit rate to defense, and then you just have a very tanky, like near maxed out hero rune for that. So that's definitely a keep right there. I'm not entirely sure who it will end up at, but that's definitely something that you could use somewhere if you need a tanky one on that. Okay, this is a pretty interesting roll as well, because if we roll this one more time, this could definitely end up at a weird set of... Okay, that's definitely nice, because I can remove this for crit rate, and then this is definitely a set that I can put on one of damage dealers in an arena, or not an arena, in any PvE team. And in PvE teams, you always need some accuracy, like whether it's like 35 or 65, like in this respective dungeon. Having that fixed by an accuracy rune rather than a broken set is definitely useful. So that's 2 keeps on this one. Well, that's an insta-seller, of course. This one, we're just aiming for speed. Definitely low rolls from the get-go already. Okay, if we get to a 22 would be very nice. 20. That's kind of on the edge where I'm like, do I really need this? Because everything is just incredibly low roll. Like, this is 5 of max, this is 4 of max, this is 2 of max, and this then. Like, this is to the point where I would say a lot of people would keep this kind of stuff, but I don't really care about 24s anymore all too much. Like, if it was a 24 where this was 6 and this was 16, then I would be like, okay, then we have some decent efficiency in the rune over here. But since the decent efficiency is kind of gone, I don't really like that rune. But I would recommend that rune for most people. Like, if 24 is on good pace for you, I would definitely recommend to keep it. These are pretty low rolls. Technically, you can do that in 1 or in 2 rolls as well. So it would have had to have a high roll on the finisher. This one, the attack percent in here, don't really like that too much. So therefore, these rolls, unless it went like super high in speed, wouldn't be too nice. So that is number 5, I guess? 4 or 5, already forgot the count. But we can check that all the way at the end, like how many runes I actually kept. So 2 more runes in there that were actually pretty useful. We see a Willer over here. Willer always makes me happy, but in a slot 6 could be dangerous. Slot 6 is removed right away. Oh, I should have actually double checked if these ones don't contain speed in there. Ooh, wow. Jesus. This is a 1 of max, like throughout. That's pretty interesting. Let's see what we have over here. Tolerance. If it goes HP and resistance, you might put it towards an arena defense unit, but that's about it. Tolerance in general, I don't really like, so this one is just too low rolls on everything, so it's not even worth rolling. That's the first one I say, like, simply not worth rolling. This one, if it ignored this, it could have been nice, but even if it goes 22 in crit rate right now, I don't really care about it. Same for this one. You kind of want to have one wasted stat that's rollable on the slot 5, and therefore you can grind that out if it doesn't roll in that. But if there's just straight up 2 wasted stats in there right from the get-go, Rune just gets a lot worse in general. So definitely going to remove those instantly. This one, I'm aiming for high crit damage, otherwise it's a sell. Yeah, that's definitely a sell for me. So no runes in that one. Halfway, pretty much. Well, a little bit before halfway, at like 11,000. I'm getting a lot of these enhance and accuracy and tolerance rules. Those are, I feel like most of them are pretty much wasted. I'm just hoping for like a high roll and then we see how it goes from there. No speed, and this one has speed, but just give it a roll. Like if it has speed, but it is a 4, like sure it could be 28, 28 could be 33, but it's most likely not gonna happen. So in this case, we're aiming actually for high HP. And we'll get 1 in each. 1 in each is one of the most wasted rolls as well, because 1 in each just instantly removes all chances to do any kinds of enchants. So your whole enchant mechanic is just wasted. Accuracy slot 6 is pretty much the same thing as crit rate slot 4. You want to have speed in there, otherwise it's just not really worth it. In this case, we're just aiming for crit damage. However, these rolls are already low, so it would need to have proper rolls in there for it to be the keep. But yeah, that didn't happen. This one is full on damage. It's 2 of max, 2 of max. Let's see if it ignores something. It ignores the speed, which is an option there. It is a max roll, 2 of max again, and then 1 of max if you put speed in here. Don't have too many focus runes that look like this, so I'm going to keep that because I probably have enough enchants on focus that I could make this like a 9 or a 10. And then this rune could be a nice damaging rune if I need some accuracy on the unit as well. Which I mentioned before, there's always some accuracy you need in your dungeon teams. This one I was just aiming for high crit rate. Actually, that's the only thing. Like, the defense innate in there without speed makes it kind of worthless. This one I would say is straight up worthless for me. Like, determination runes are pretty bad in general. This one could be interesting, but we only have max 2 grindables and therefore 3 grindable stats, so I would have to ignore this one or this one to be it pretty decent, but it could go high in speed in the first place as well. Okay, double speed. Let's go speed again, 21. No, it goes attack, but since they're all low rolls, like if it was super high rolled to the point where it was like 16, 16, 18, whether that's not possible because we had like 2 low rolls base over here, but if it was something along the lines of that, it would be useful, but now it's just straight up not useful. So we have one more rune added to the pile. Not a crazy rune, like we didn't get any wow kind of runes, but I tend to keep everything that I feel like okay, it might be useful at some point. Like in the end, it's super easy to store like pretty much close to infinite amount of runes. Well, not infinite, but you can store like 9,000 runes as long as you put the effort of putting them, equipping them to all the units and that kind of stuff. So it's yeah, it's something that you can do. It just takes a bunch of time. In this case, we're just aiming solely on the defense percentage. Rolls anything else anywhere, then it's insta-seller on that. This case, ooh, if we go for high crit rate, crit damage, that would be very nice. Fight runes like these are definitely usable. We go kind of low rolls on that, but for a fight rune, this is still definitely usable. Like fight runes, you can never really go wrong with weird sets. Same thing as before, accuracy on slot 6, you kind of need that speed because otherwise, yeah, it's just the only thing. We have defense and crit damage on here, the only 2 uses stats. I don't really use any determination runes anywhere. Like for Chikaro, I don't need them. Plus Chikaro is kind of absolute at the moment, so not really the most useful rune types at these days, I would say. And this one, no, it's like if it was like everything like maxed out and you ignore this, you could maybe use it. Probably not, but still not like if it's that low rolled, it's not even worth the roll, I would say. It's not that I need the mana, but it's just not worth the time, more or less like that. I think this is the first Swift rune we ever had. Oh, second one right away after that. Let's see what's excluded already. Okay, the Swift rune is excluded, but since it's a Swift flat with base 6, that's definitely always worth trying. But if it rolls like twice somewhere else, it's already instantly useless. We have to ignore the HP percent, put speed over it. If we don't, it's a seller. In this case, we're aiming for just crit rate. And if it was high crit rate, we could always remove the resistance, but not gonna happen. This one is kind of weird. Like, this is too low of rolls. Like, you could say re-up target because of the resistance innate, but I have better re-up targets than this. I'm just gonna see if it rolls high in crit rate. Maybe we could do something with that. Like 28 crit rate would keep it, but otherwise it's a sell. This one, well, speed, we're always speed chasing, right? Anything good on the speed? Not really, but it is pretty high in rolls, actually. And this is actually not too bad one as well. Like, if I want to make it to a pure damage rune, I would remove the defense for crit damage. And then it could be pretty interesting. Like, some accuracy, as mentioned before, on units is never bad for PV. Mainly PV rune. Okay, too bad about the flat defense. The flat defense makes it kind of useless, and 1 in each rolls like insta-seller. Well, not 1 in each is not always insta-seller. Like, if it's your best in slot for that type at that moment, you don't have to sell your 1 in each roll. But if you've been farming long enough, 1 in each is definitely not. This one as well. Since there's flat attack on it, I could still kind of get away with like a 29 crit rate. So I just want to give, like, in general, I just want to give runes a try to quad roll or triple roll if they're here or that kind of stuff. But if they're just too bad that even a quad roll wouldn't matter, then I could instantly sell it. But quad rolls on crit rate are definitely worth it. Okay, let's see what we have over here. I would say that this is too much of low rolls to become anything interesting. But if it would go all the way in HP, could be a something. But the only thing that it had to ignore was the flat defense. Moment rolls once, in flat defense instantly sell. This case, anything that's not crit rate or crit damage, instant sell. Well, that's the 2 that we ignored right away. In this case, we're just speed chasing. Like, attack percent is already in here, so that just makes a slot 1 a lot worse. Like, slot 1, if it has HP percent or attack percent in the innate, it's already bad. This one, I'm not even sure why I'm rolling this, in all honesty. I could have just straight up sold that. This one is also pretty low rolls. We have to ignore the resistance. We only roll in resistance, of course. Attack percent. Attack percent is kind of similar to crit rate percent, why you mainly need speed, because otherwise it's just too much wasted. Well, there we have some speed. Do we roll in it? We absolutely ignore it. That's also a way. This one, I would say that the main interesting thing is, well, you could make it into a Antares rune or a Helphas rune from the looks of this. Kind of depending if it goes high rolls, and it would have to ignore this. The high rolls were definitely there. If this roll was like another 8 in like either of those two, then you would definitely plus 12 it, but in this case you don't, then it's a 1 in each, so that's like 100% sell on this kind of rune. This one is just straight up speed chasing, anything else is useless. Would say that the rune luck this time around feels worse than the last time. Last time I felt like I kept more runes, but also more runes that I was saying like, oh, they actually have some chances here and there of being useful. In this case, the runes that I'm getting, I'm like, even the ones that I'm keeping, I'm like, yeah, it's really that useful. I don't know. Determination, I could go for high defense and crit rate, but anything else is pretty much a sell. This one, I would say high. Well, if we ignore this and get high rolls, we could make it a damage despair rune. But no, we actually double roll in accuracy. Definitely not something we need. You could say to keep this and then remove this for attack percent for like a Samath kind of rune, but I don't really like it. Plus, I already have too many of those kind of runes. Okay, that is interesting. Samath kind of rune. If we do the one, that's the only one that you have to ignore. Like if that 4 was a 4 in here, and then put crit rate in there, it would have been nice, but now it's still like the 25 looks nice, but since it's like min roll, and then double min roll in there, it becomes somewhat useless, so we're gonna sell it anyways. This case, that's just all flats, so that's we don't like those. Here we're just speed chasing. Nope. Also double low roll in those two. Seal rune, I don't really have too many seal runes, but I also don't really care that much about seal runes. I feel like seal's pretty much of a weak thing. Like, I've seen it a few times being used in, well, anywhere, but I've never really seen like, ooh, this is such a great moment that seal's placed or anything, so I don't really know. Okay, double crit damage and HP. Too bad it went for HP though, but it could be that high damage dealer. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this in case I ever get a Sarath. Like something like that, or you get like another unit, some unit is buffed that is like a damage type on HP or something like that. That's, yeah, it could be something like that. And here we're just straight up speed chasing. Like if all of those rolls were maxed out, then I would say like, okay, this has more potential of other things as well. But since it is just low rolls, then it just becomes a speed chase rune. If it's not that speed chase, then it would be an instant sell. And let's see over here. Well, that's definitely a speed chase over here as well. Same thing because it's low rolls. Wow. Can we low roll this into a quad? No. But definitely low rolls throughout. Holy shit. This one, ooh, these ones are the ones that could be very good. It is like 2 of max, 2 of max, 1 of max, but this one definitely has some potential. That is interesting. I would say I'll probably remove this for HP percent and make it like some mid-tier bruiser-ish kind of rune. Too bad it has no innate and we're still looking at like 4 of max, 1 of max, 1 of max. But definitely a rune that could be used. One of the better runes that I got so far. And that's actually kind of depressing that that's one of the better runes because it's actually not that great. But yeah, that's, I would say, okay. We have all of the rolls that you want in a slot 5. However, I hope it ignores either the HP or the defense and goes high in the speed and attack. Okay. It's not that great, I would say, but definitely something that you might end up keeping. Like, it's Revenge, you could kind of get away with some more mid-tier runes. I would say that if you put HP percent over here, it's a pretty solid rune for like a triple Revenge third, but if you, yeah, probably people already have better stuff than that. Same for me, but I'm just gonna keep that one for like a what if or something. This one, I'm kind of aiming if I go crit rate or attack once again, I would maybe keep it, but it would have to be a high roll to keep. This one, of course, there's a speed chase. Not the chase that we're winning right now. This one is so bad, like legitimately the only grindable stat will be the enchant plus grind that you can put in there, but if we go high crit damage, crit rate, like max rolls throughout, it could be okay-ish for a broken rune still, but kind of a weird rune in the first place. In this case, just straight up speed chasing. This one feels too weird as well. I would just crit rate chase, and that's... Yeah, besides it was super low rolled in the first place. We're getting pretty bad RNG on these rolls and pretty much on the runes in the first. Okay, this is the pretty much one of the last sets that we have. We will have, like, after selling a few over here, we would have like 2 or 3 more. So let's see if we get a little bit more lucky on those. With the sell, we remove this one and that one. Nope, not that one. Okay, let's keep the Via rune for last. Speed chase would be an okay-ish rune if it was HP percent. This one, this is just, we're gonna try for like maxing out attack, but in most cases that rune will be sold. This one, well, just crit damage. Like even defense I wouldn't care that much about, but if it would roll super high in crit damage, could be okay. This one, I would say ignore resistance and high roll. Like definitely high roll. Like if you ignored resistance and high roll these 3 stats like throughout, it would definitely not be bad for most vampire units out there. But if you don't, then it's just terrible. With the speed in here, it's not that great. It would have to have some pretty nice rolls. It actually does have decent rolls, but I think every rune needs some speed that is destroy. Well, not every rune. Like definitely you have your Leo kind of. Would this be a Leo rune on destroy? No, not really. Like, you could remove this. Like, it had one more roll if it went into HP, and then... would it be? Because I would need some resistance on. I think I might get this rune back. Would I? No, I already have better runes than this. Like, once again, you're chasing Leo runes, and everything is a Leo rune at some point, right? This one is pretty nice, but that roll's kind of wasted. Let's see what it is on the final roll, though. Another one in resistance. Rolls aren't too bad, though, I would say. Well, could have been 21, could have been 24. So we're lacking 6, we're lacking 3, and then we're lacking 2 and 2. Which makes it altogether not that great, I would say, but... There are some Leo counters. No, most Leo counters that I have don't really need crit damage. Like, if this was like a crit rate 18, then it would have been nice. I would have probably kept it, but... This case feels kind of off. This is just a straight up speed chase or crit rate chase. Crit rate is also fine. Accuracy. Nah, not really. Okay, let's see if this one is any better. Okay, we just go quad roll and speed 30. Close. Not really. Okay, so we sold all of them, so we're gonna have another 3. And with those 3, we're done over here. And we didn't keep all too many runes altogether, I would say. Defense. I like energy on HP types a lot more, of course. That's kind of an odd one. Does it go quad roll? It goes quad roll. Okay, that's my only quad roll that I have here so far. I might keep it for the sake of it that I could remove this and put speed into it if I need some broken set of this. But it doesn't, like, if it was HP over here and defense over there and then crit rate 24, it would have made a lot more sense. But in this case, it's just super weird. This one, no speed on accuracy, is most likely a sell. And then this one, well, everything except the, well, I would actually like it if we ignored this one, and then we can grind in this and then enchant this. So everything in these 2 and high rolls, please. How the hell do you get to 14 with 3 rolls? What the actual fuck? Man, you can literally do that in 2 rolls, man. How does a triple roll? Like, you could have been 28. You're 17. That's underage. Like, fuck. Shit, that's a nice finisher. Okay, so how many runes did we actually keep? I don't think too much. So, the starter was this one. So we got 1, 2... Well, I think even those are pretty bad. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one, I just forgot to roll. No, I think it's one that I just got from the dungeon itself. So it was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's pretty bad. I would say that this is the best rune that I got. Last time I did 10,000 and I had, or 10,000 of those materials and I kept 17 runes. Now I only kept 12. And from the 12 that I kept, I feel like a lot of them are kind of still like, yeah, everything's kind of, yeah. They're useful to a certain extent, but they're kind of meh. So, yep, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one.